Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Thursday, September 27th, 2018. We have a few more dry, gusty days in the forecast leading into the weekend before some long-awaited, more significant changes come in the extended forecast. But for the next couple of days, continued windy conditions in Idaho for Thursday and Friday, and then a pretty gusty and warm day expected for Utah and Nevada on Saturday. Dry conditions have persisted across the Great Basin for the last couple of days, and yesterday was no exception with sunny skies and warming temperatures. Some of our large fires continue to be fairly active, especially in western Wyoming, and a few new initial attack fires have popped up over Idaho and western Nevada. Shown here is the observed precipitation for the past 7 days on the left, and then the image on the right shows the departure from normal for the past 30 days. So here we're looking at how many inches of rain we were missing in the last 30 days. And for most of the Great Basin, we're looking at somewhere between a half an inch to 2 inches that we normally would have received over the past 30 days that we didn't this year. And the higher elevations there in northern Utah and western Wyoming were seeing a deficit of, in some places, over 3 inches of rain in the past 30 days. So very significant in terms of what we normally see in September and what we've seen this year. It's no surprise that these dry conditions have led to above normal fire danger indices. The ERCs are still above the 90th percentile for much of the Great Basin, and a few sites are still coming in over the 97th percentile. We've been setting records now for the bulk of the month of September in some of our PSAs, but here we'll take a look at western Wyoming where those values are setting records and close to the 97th percentile, and then also over the higher elevations of northern Utah where we're still setting records and hovering around that 97th percentile. We have a few more days to set some records here before things start to change. This morning's satellite imagery is showing a broad area of kind of some high pressure in place over the western U.S., a very dry atmosphere with warming temperatures area-wide. And then we're starting to see this very large area of low pressure off the Pacific coast that's going to help bring in some changing weather early next week. So dry west to northwest flow in place across the geographic area today with some gusty winds over eastern Idaho, western Wyoming, and the mountains of northern Utah. Here we're looking at where those strongest winds are going to be located over the mountains of central Idaho and western Wyoming. A very dry atmosphere continues to remain in place, especially over Nevada, where the relative humidities remain in the single digits below 5% in many areas. The winds lighten up just a bit on Friday with the gusty winds really remaining over western Wyoming. As we begin to see more west to southwest flow across the geographic area, we could see some winds pick up over the southern third of the geographic area, but they'll still remain below red flag warning criteria. The air mass continues to be dry on Friday. And on Saturday, that area of low pressure begins to move inland over northern California and southern Oregon. This will increase the winds across the geographic area, particularly over Nevada and Utah, to some very gusty values. Taking a closer look at those wind speeds, we're expecting gusts over 50 miles an hour across southern Nevada and the western Utah deserts. RHs will come up just a bit, but those values will still remain below 15% for many areas. The 3-day precipitation accumulations are shown here. Really not looking for much in the way of precipitation in the short term, especially for Utah or Nevada, but we could see some moisture beginning to move into the central Idaho mountains late in the forecast period on Sunday, associated with that low pressure moving into northern California and southern Oregon. On Sunday, a cold front will move through the northern half of the geographic area associated with that low pressure system off the California coast. We'll see a decrease in some temperatures and possibly a continuation of some showers over the central Idaho mountains. Ahead of this cold front, we'll continue to see warm, dry, gusty winds over southeast Nevada, southwest Utah, and up into the northern Utah mountains. On Sunday, we'll also begin to see Hurricane Rosa move further northward off Baja California, and this hurricane will begin to spread some significant moisture up into the southwest early next week. By Monday, that deeper tropical moisture will move up into Arizona, New Mexico, and portions of southern Utah and the Arizona Strip. And then by Tuesday, we'll really see that deep moisture move up into the central Great Basin for pretty good precipitation event over portions of eastern Nevada and much of Utah and up into southwest Wyoming. Large fire potential should be decreasing rapidly across Utah, eastern Idaho, and eastern Nevada by Tuesday. Precipitation should linger across these areas on Wednesday as well. And here we're seeing the expected precipitation accumulations for the next 7 days, the likes of which we have not seen for quite a while. Here we're looking at precipitation totals over an inch in some places across the southern half of the Great Basin, and a half to 3/4 of an inch across northern Utah and up into southeast Idaho. Northwest Nevada and southwest Idaho look to remain on the drier side as this moisture remains primarily to the south and east. The extended forecast going into the second week of October is calling for near to below normal temperatures over much of the geographic area, with above normal chances for precipitation region-wide. This concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.